I'm going to do a little bit of a perfect pitch challenge. And what that's going to be is very impromptu. You're going to get to see me experiment. And I'm going to explain a little bit of my process as I do this. But this is very kind of low key. And I'm going to try and do this once per day on the days when I actually work. So I'm going to focus on the notes C, D, and eventually I'll add E. Now, I have a bit of tone awareness. I'm not looking at the camera right now, but this is low key. I'm just kind of doing this. So if I hear a C and I have other notes to compare it, by itself, that C doesn't mean a whole lot to me. As somebody said it, I love this. It just sounds like ding. All the notes on the piano just sound like ding when played by themselves out of nowhere. I don't have perfect pitch. That's how I hear it. But then all of a sudden, if you play a C and then I compare it to a D, well, the D takes on a different character in relation to the C. And it's not just that it's higher or lower, because I can go from C here down to D here. And that D still has that quality. It's hidden in there somewhere, but that quality is definitely there. Just check and make sure I got the right mic on. All right. So what I'm testing here is I've been doing a little bit of research, and it seems like people with perfect pitch, and I've experienced this when teaching in the university as well, they just immediately know the note right away. Like less than 500 milliseconds, preferably less than 200 milliseconds, they know what the note is. So I did this thing where I just went up the piano like this. And I'm going to do it again. Now, some of these notes really stood out to me as being very different in character. And I'm using an electronic keyboard on purpose because I don't want to have any changes in timbre. I want it to be as consistent as possible. Okay, the C, I'm just going to kind of explain these how I hear them. The C sounds dull to me. It sounds clear. It sounds flat almost. Okay, the D. Compared to the C, the D sounds somewhat duller to me. The E, it feels brighter, almost sunny. The F, softer texture. The G, something kind of over here in the corner of my head. It feels bright. The A, really obvious to me. It feels like I'm struggling for air. It's just like my nose is covered. I'm stuck underwater for too long. Can't breathe. The B, it also has a texture I classify it as a little bit edgier. So I notice it more clearly when I played the notes so quickly. That A really stands out to me right now. And then we'll play the C again, just to resolve it. So that is not any indication that I'm going to develop perfect pitch by doing this, but I'm running an experiment. And what I'm doing is I'm playing around with some exercises that I think could help me. It's going to be very intuitive, and I'm just going to show you my process here. So if this ends up working, if it doesn't, fine. It'll be a fun little experiment, and I can tell you about the results at the end. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just play notes, and I'm not going to tell you what I'm playing. I'm going to start with C and D, and then later I'll add E. If you want to find out more about what I'm actually doing and kind of the methodology behind this, tune in on Wednesday at 1:30 Pacific Standard Time, because that's what I'm talking about this. All right. So just C or D. That's all we're going to play right now. So what am I doing? I'm playing the note, I'm listening for it, I'm internalizing it. Okay, you cannot describe a note. I just tried to on the keyboard, but it's too simple. There's not enough information there. Just like you can't describe a color. But if I show you a color, you can experience it. So the way we experience notes, because we can't hear, most of us, a C sounds different than a D right now. So the way we experience it is we play it and then we try and replicate it in our mind. We play it back almost like a mirror. We're like, hey, that's a note I just heard. This is what it sounds like in my mind. I try and get the echo. You just try and get as many details possible without a single word. You're just hearing it in your head. It'll be softer until you develop a really powerful level of audiation. Then it can be almost the same. And in some cases, you'll actually think you're in a concert. You'll hear it in the room with you with spatial dimensions, but that's more rare. But you audiate it with whatever level you have right now. That is a way of explaining it to you. That is a way of explaining what the note sounds like. So I'm going to play it again. Next time, I'm going to try and turn off that reverb. The reverb's getting in the way. We just want to hear the initial articulation, nothing else. Okay, so I put in some initial effort here. I was concentrating on it. I was playing it back in my mind. Now I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm not going to focus on the notes. I'm going to play them in the background, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what this is. So my plan here is to try and do 30 days. If I see some results, I'll go on and do some additional days. And this may go on much longer if I start to see results. But the goal here is to try to not pay attention to these notes and to just kind of have them in the background while I'm playing them. And we'll see if they become any clearer or if they always kind of stay at this basic tone awareness level, which is what I'm calling it, where I hear them, I hear differences, but I'm never going to memorize them. So there's more to it than this. There's more to it than this aspect of it. Because what I've already done today is a training that you're going to see on Wednesday. It's about a 45-minute training, maybe 30 minutes without me talking, but you'll be able to go and skip the intro once it's finished the instant premiere, and you'll be able to just do the exercises. I'll put a timestamp in the video so you can go straight to the exercise. So this here is just an exercise I'm doing to make myself more familiar with C and D. Now I'm going to go back and focus on them. Okay, it does sound a little different to me. Not different, but more clear. Very different. The way I view C, D, and E, and it's not necessarily true for all the notes, I view it as like a little panning knob. C is like you've got the pan turned all the way to the left. D's kind of in the middle. And then E's to the right. And I don't hear them spatially that way, but I hear kind of a little bit of articulation to the left of it, the middle, to the right. And again, Why am I explaining? To kind of show you, to lead you into these a little bit. You know, I talk about how you shouldn't use melodies to memorize intervals, but I've also mentioned how in the very beginning, when you're just trying to learn the difference between a perfect fourth and a perfect fifth, Here Comes the Bride, and then Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, you can use those just to get a sense what those intervals are, but then you quickly need to get away from that and start focusing on quality. Well, we can do the same thing here. I can describe them. Okay, C, clear like a silvery lake. D, depressed a little, like sunken into mud almost. But it's not muddy, it's just kind of like a smooth mud. E, sounds bright to me. Okay, now what am I going to do? I'm going to go ahead and play them longer. I hope you're hearing this. There's a very good possibility the keyboard's not coming through, in which case I'm just wasting my time, but I'm still getting the exercise, I guess. I still hear it. That E, let's try and assign vowel sounds to it. Wah, wah. You know, oh, oh, there's something a little bit whiny about the E. Like it's a little bit annoyed with something. And that's it. That's all I'm going to do for today. Because with this aspect of it, I want to start introducing more notes. And you'll actually find, I'm going to go up a scale one more time for you so you can listen. But you'll find the more notes you add, the more clearly you hear the different colors. But it's just a theory. If you add too much too fast, I think you're going to get confused. What I want to do is next week's going to be a little bit boring. You probably won't see much of a change, but it's foundational. What we're doing is just introducing you to the concept of listening to see in different ways. And then we can start adding comparison notes. But if we work on a drill for a week and let it really set into our mind without doing much comparison, and we do some other things, which I'm going to tell you about, some little activities I have for you to do in your spare time, which won't take that long, just a few minutes probably, and you only have to do them like once or twice. But when we start to add some of these other activities, when we start to add other notes later on, you have a stronger foundation to go off of. So let's listen to the scale one more time, and let's just see if we hear any difference. I don't actually like this sample sound. I'm using GarageBand, as you can probably see, but what's happening here is with GarageBand, I don't know how to hook up my actual better sample libraries. So we're working with this. So annoying. Clearly hear that A. Let's keep going. Still hear the A the same way. Soft, like stuck in the dirt. Very vibrant. C is always so calm. And that's it. We don't want to do too much. We don't want to wear out the ear. So that's it for today. I'll probably do this again. Well, I don't typically work Monday and Tuesday, but maybe on Wednesday when I come back, I'll do another one before the live stream or after. So you can come and meet me and you can learn more about this and we can do this together and see what happens.